Hello, Wildcats. Pope makes an unexpected statement. What will the next steps be for the Cats and the Kentucky captain now? Before the news, subscribe to the channel. Kentucky basketball coach Mark Pope is not a man to hide behind narratives or statistics. Since arriving at the college basketball program, he has faced questions about gaps in his resume, especially that pesky 0-2 record in the NCAA tournament. However, instead of retreating or making excuses, Pope has adopted a stance that reflects both his philosophy and his vision for leading a team of Kentucky's magnitude. "This is much bigger than me," he said, in a statement that sums up his unpretentious and deeply collective approach. The phrase may sound like a cliché in other mouths, but when Pope says it, it carries weight. He is not trying to redeem a personal record or prove anything to anyone. His perspective goes beyond individual victories, focusing on building something lasting that aligns with Kentucky's tradition of excellence. For Pope, March Madness is not an opportunity to rewrite his own history, but rather to amplify the greatness of a program that has won 8 national championships. That mindset reveals a coach who understands the weight of being at the helm of a storied institution and chooses to use that weight as inspiration, not a burden. His response to early criticism was equally telling. When asked about his ability to recruit 5-star talent or his lack of success in the tournament, Pope didn't directly defend himself. Instead, he took action. In a few short weeks, he assembled a competitive roster through the transfer portal and secured a top 5 recruiting class for 2025, proving that his words were not empty. But what's most impressive is how he turned those signings into something bigger than just names on paper. Pope has built a culture where players understand they're there not just to win, but to leave their mark on a legacy that transcends any one individual. This attitude is also evident in the way he treats his players. By highlighting the resilience of a largely new group that has weathered the adversities of the SEC, Pope demonstrates a genuine appreciation for the collective process. He doesn't see his players as chess pieces to be moved on the board of his personal glory. They are collaborators, partners in a shared mission. This mindset creates an environment where the Wildcats can thrive, knowing that their coach is as committed to their growth as he is to the success of the team. But perhaps the most fascinating aspect of Pope is his ability to deconstruct the individualistic narrative that often dominates the sport. In a world where coaches often seek to place their own accomplishments in the spotlight, Pope insists on shifting the focus to the collective. "If this is about me, then it's just stupid," he says without hesitation. This statement isn't just a denial of ego. It's a powerful statement that Kentucky basketball doesn't belong to one person, not even its coach. It belongs to the community, the fans, and the players who have chosen to make their mark on this game, as he put it. This approach contrasts with the style of many modern coaches, who often use traditional programs as platforms to promote their personal brands. Pope, on the other hand, seems genuinely motivated by the idea of serving something bigger than himself. He's not at Kentucky to prove he can win March Madness. He's there to help his players achieve something they themselves can call greatness. This subtle but powerful distinction is what makes Pope a unique figure in today's college basketball landscape. When asked about the pressure of finally earning his first tournament win, Pope didn't hesitate. He acknowledged the significance of the moment but quickly redirected the conversation to what really matters: the impact this experience can have on his players. For him, true triumph won't be measured by a number next to his name, but rather by how his players respond to the challenge and the confidence they gain in the process. Pope isn't just a basketball coach. He's a leader whose strength lies in his humility and his ability to inspire others to see beyond themselves. His statement that "this is much bigger than me" isn't just a response to criticism. It's a life philosophy that guides every decision he makes at Kentucky. Will our captain lead the Cats to that championship? At the end of the video, you can comment, The confirmation that Lamont Butler will be available for Kentucky in the NCAA tournament brought immediate relief to BBN. After a season marked by injuries and interruptions, the presence of the experienced point guard represents more than just a key piece on Mark Pope's board. It symbolizes stability at a time when cohesion and experience are essential. Pope's statement about Butler's return was not only a medical update, but also a clear demonstration of how the coach sees the player's role within the group, a stabilizing force both on and off the court. The context of this news is even more relevant when considering the impact of Butler's absences at crucial moments of the season. The point guard, who had already been dealing with a shoulder injury since mid-January, suffered a new injury during the SEC tournament, forcing him to miss crucial games, including the loss to Alabama in the quarterfinals. This string of adversities directly reflected in the team's performance, which often had its rotation limited and had to improvise solutions in the midst of an already challenging campaign. For Pope, who has repeatedly highlighted the lack of continuity on the roster, ranked 355th in the country in minutes played this season. Getting a player like Butler back is almost like winning the lottery. But Butler's return is about more than just stats or technical skills. He's the epitome of what Pope values in his leaders. Someone who understands the magnitude of the moment and knows how to lead a team in high-pressure situations. Averaging 11.5 points, 4.3 assists and 1.6 steals per game, Butler is more than just an efficient player. He's a veteran with enough experience to inspire confidence in a young roster full of new talent. He lives for March, Pope said, acknowledging Butler's importance in a scenario like March Madness. He's been to first-round games. He's been to Final Four games. I don't know if he's the most experienced guy in the tournament, but he's got to be pretty close. That experience over the years makes Butler an indispensable piece to Pope's NCAA tournament plans. While many teams face the typical adversities of the playoffs, jitters, lack of tactical adjustment, or inconsistency, Kentucky can count on a player who has proven himself capable of thriving in those moments. Butler not only understands the weight of representing a program like Kentucky, but he also seems motivated by the opportunity to leave his mark on a special chapter in college basketball history. I'm excited to go out there and have the opportunity to go to a Final Four and win that championship at Kentucky, he said, displaying the kind of winning mentality that Pope values so highly. Pope's caution during the SEC tournament is also noteworthy. Despite the urgency to advance in the competition, the coach opted to rest Butler, recognizing that the right time for him to return would be on the biggest stage of the season. That strategic decision reflects a balanced approach that combines physical management with a long-term vision. You kind of get into a space where it's tough decisions, Pope said, highlighting the complexity of managing the wear and tear of a roster already depleted by injuries. I'm not a load management guy, but we also have to have some sense of what we're doing. For Kentucky, Butler's return brings with it a renewed sense of optimism. He's not only a talented player, but also a leader who embodies the resilience needed to overcome the adversity that has marked the season thus far. His return comes with an opportunity for redemption for a team that, despite its struggles, has shown clear signs of growth under Pope's leadership. Now, with Butler back in the fold, the Wildcats can finally present a more complete version of themselves, something that will be crucial against the likes of Troy and potentially other tournament giants. Pope's message is clear. Lamont Butler is much more than a name on the roster. He's a symbol of the perseverance and ambition that defines the spirit of Kentucky basketball. And I want to hear your thoughts now. Comment below.